Welcome to this video. My name is Jared Watts. If you're new to this channel, I'm a very amateur racer who wants to give as many tips as I can for other people to become better racers, better cyclists, all of those things. So today we are doing a criterium recap. This is from June 25th. So it's taking me a little while to get this recap done, but this is the men's 1, 2, and 3 field. I am a category 2 racer. I don't win as much anymore because, there's a lot of good guys out there. And so I am just trying to do my best as a racer, have fun out there, and then give as many tips as I can to the world. So thank you so much for watching this video. My goal in this race today was to try to be a disruptor. I wanted to attack. I wanted to get in breakaways. I can't win the sprint in these races anymore. Like, there are some good guys in here who are way better sprinters than me. So my goal is to get in a break. In the beginning, first couple laps of the race, I'm just trying to settle in, get into the race, feel it out, kind of feel how everybody's doing. I like to follow a wheel of a guy I like, and I just sit on that wheel for a little bit and just kind of let the race come to me to a degree. Just kind of feel things out as we get into it. And always like cornering and stuff. It's always good just to kind of be in the middle of the pack for me and just kind of feel that cornering out again in that first lap or two. Usually nothing happens in those first couple laps. I'm in Minnesota. That's what's happening here in these local races, right? So I'm not too worried about anything super big happening in the first lap or two. I'm just letting myself ease into the race. And you can't always do that, especially in the lower levels where the races are 20, 25 minutes long, something like that. This is like a 50-minute long race, something like that. So you got a bit of time to settle into the race for sure. But again, I am looking to attack or follow a break, something like that. That is my goal. That is what I have in mind. So you see here, I am moving to the front of the peloton without really trying. And that's usually a good sign to attack, right? Like, it wasn't necessarily like, oh, I have to attack on this lap. You just kind of see what the race gives you. And I kind of easily got to the front of this race here. I sat there for maybe a half a lap, and then I was like, okay, I'm going to go because the rest of the peloton is just not going at too high of a pace, and it's a good time to at least get a break. Now, everyone's going to be pretty fresh. We're like 4 miles into this race, right? Like, we're not too far into this race, but I know I can probably still get at least a gap. So I probably get like a 10-second gap on this attack here. And then I want to see, does anybody follow me? Is anybody coming with me? Is there anybody else who has the same mindset that I have? And at first, nobody came with me, right? So I'm going to try to get it in the most aero position that I can and try to sit on the front and go as fast as possible. Now, you have to settle into a pace that works for you. This is something, right, that I'm still trying to figure out. I've raced a lot, but I got to figure out exactly what that pace looks like after I attack, because I did about 600, 700 watts to attack. And then I want to be in that 320, 340, somewhere in that range by myself, because I can sustain that for a while. That's not my FTP. I can't sustain that for like too long, right? But then thankfully somebody came with me and came out, and I'm like, cool. Somebody came out, and you wonder, is anybody else going to come? But it was just this guy. So it's me and him, and we're going to try to work together as best we can, right? I still don't think there's a great chance that we're going to get away from the field. It's very hard to get away from a field in a criterium, especially one that's not super technical. This one is very flat, so there's not a great opportunity to do it. But if I can't win in the sprint, I got to try here. So we're going to try to work together and work off of each other to try to get away from the peloton as best as possible. So I was out by myself for about 3 laps, and then this guy showed up. We did a lap together. Now, there's a guy that just came on the left, and he is one of the best guys in the peloton here. He wins a lot of races. He is a very dangerous rider, and he came to the front. So 2 things came to my head. Either he's coming to the front to work with us, which would be awesome, or he came to the front to slow us down. It was the latter, right? So he got to the front. He said, whoa, I'm in control here. And then clearly at this point, I look behind. The peloton is not too far away, and I'm like, yeah, that sucks. Our breakaway is over, but that's okay. There's more times to attack coming up. So I'm not too worried here. So now I'm just sitting at the front. I'm going to try to recover a little bit because I know the peloton is coming, right? And now we got to get back into the peloton. And I think that's something to really note, is that you don't just get to freely come back into the peloton, especially in the 1-2. You got to work for it. And this one was even harder because as soon as the peloton caught us, another attack went, which is a great time to attack. If you catch the attackers, attack. It's a great time to attack. And some heavy hitters win in this break. And I said, oh crap, this sucks. Like, this could be the race right here, because I'm tired, right? I was out there for 4 or 5 laps by myself. I'm tired. I'm like, crap, I got to get in. And the peloton is nervous, right? Like red flags are going up. Everybody is like, oh crap, that is a good break. We have to get in. So now I'm tired, but I know I have to put out some big watts in order to get back into that Peloton or to get everybody back together. I'm not super worried about the break. I'm like, whatever, if they're gone, I probably can't get to that break, but at least I want to be in the Peloton to give myself a shot. So my thinking is get onto somebody's wheel, get onto a train of wheels that can pull me, but I have to find a pace that works for me. Like I was just doing 600 watts there coming off a time where I was alone by myself doing a break. I can't sustain that, right? Like I need to be in that 300, 350 range in order to like consistently carry that for a lap or two at this point. So I'm just trying to latch on to a wheel and hoping that there's a train that I can latch onto. And that is my thinking to get back into it. And you're trying to figure out, okay, everybody is scared now. There's going to be a grouping. Like, don't get me wrong. There's going to be a grouping. What you don't want is a bunch of different random people attacking. You want to try to get people together and find people who are like-minded that are like, I want to get back into that. Even though I'm tired, I want to get back into that, right? So I'm trying to find people who also have those same goals, because there's going to be some people who just can't handle this and they're going to fall off, right? And you have to figure out who those people are, and you have to figure out who are the people that want to get back. Thankfully, this guy was like, I want to get back. And I was like, cool. I can sit behind your wheel a little bit. I can recover just slightly, and then I know I can go again. If I can recover slightly, I know I can go again. So I'm like, cool, let's sit behind this guy's wheel. Let's try to do as much recovery as possible, and then I'm going to have to work again, right? But at least I'm not solo. Now, if you look up on the left-hand side, you see that group of 10 riders or so. So I know that the break is not too far. We have a chance of catching this, right? I'm looking ahead and I'm seeing that. And there's people behind me who are very motivated. There's still some good riders in the back who are motivated as well. So that is a good sign to me that, hey, we're probably going to catch this and I'm not going to have to do all the work by myself. As you can see, some guys on the left are coming up, and this is a very good sign. There are some strong riders left here that want to get back, bring the Peloton back together because they want to sprint at the end, right? Like I know that there's some guys in this that want a sprint at the end. That is their goal. So I am just, thanking this Peloton for getting back together. And now I can really start to rest. I'm still doing like 450 watts there, but I know that I can start to rest. Okay. So that was great. We all get back together. Happy days. Now we're going to move forward into the race. I've caught my breath. I'm feeling good again. And I'm like, okay, now we got to look to attack again. So some guy goes off the front here, and I just moved to the front of the Peloton easy again. I take the inside corner. I moved to the front of the Peloton. I saw a guy go off, but I didn't want to follow him. I just wasn't feeling that attack. Another guy goes, again, I'm just not feeling it. So what is my purpose at being at the front now? I'm just going to set the pace that I want to set, right? Like I don't have to drive anything. I have no teammates in this race at this point. I do not have to I can do whatever I want. And that is totally fine. And so about a half lap later, all I did was sit at the front and just do the pace that I want to do. I didn't work too hard. Now there are some guys who want to catch this break, and I go, great. I thought that there was like 3 people up the road. I think there was actually 4 people up the road. I've watched this back a ton of times. I still can't find it. I don't know where I missed it. But anyways, I think that there's only so many people up the road. So we get this group of guys. Now there's a whole Peloton behind us, so it's not just us. And we catch the break. So there's one, and then we're going to see the second guy. And I go, great, cool. That's awesome. This might be a good time to attack. Because again, when you catch the break, it's a great time to attack if you have the stamina. Because the rest of the Peloton just worked a little bit to try to catch that break. You have a bunch of speed that you can carry. And I wanted to attack here because the guy on the front there, his turn was done. And I didn't think the guy in front of me was going to pull hard again. So then I attacked. The guy at the front wasn't very happy that I attacked because he was like, hey, let's bring this all back together. Again, I didn't know that there was still somebody up the road at this point. So that's an error on my part. You should always know who's up the road. That was a lapped rider. That was not part of the breakaway. This guy is part of the he's not a lapped rider. He's still in there. But then there's still somebody up the road that I didn't know about. So again, that is a mistake on my part. So I'm going to go out on my own. I'm trying to get as aero as possible. Again, I'm trying to break from the Peloton. Now, this is one of the most demoralizing things because I wasn't even out by myself for a lap. And there's guys coming up on my left. That sucks. I hate that. Like, that's just so demoralizing when you throw an attack and then the Peloton's just right there. They're like, nah, we ain't letting you go. But again, there was somebody up the road that I didn't know about. So I think that was the more worrisome part. It wasn't me that they were necessarily worried about. And then at this point, I know that's probably going to be pretty easy to get back into the Peloton. So I'm just looking for the back of the line here. Going to attach onto a wheel. We're all kind of, single file here. and then we're going to get back in and we're going to try to rest up and go for another attack. So that's my purpose here. But again, I was out for a half a lap and got caught. Sucks. But it happens. It happens. And we go, whatever, catch your breath, bring your heart rate back down, recover, and then we're going to attack again. So now at this point, I'm just sitting in the peloton, kind of feeling it out. When should I attack again? Is somebody else going to go? Like, nobody really wanted to go on a breakaway. They wanted a sprint finish for this. And I don't want a sprint finish. So I'm like, okay, I got to attack again. And you're just going to feel it out. Like, you're just going to be ready to attack if the time comes. Again, I'm not trying to force an attack. I don't have teammates necessarily. I'm just trying to see if the peloton is going to do something where I like to attack. That is my thinking here. I'm just trying to sit in the middle here, trying to recover, trying to do my best to not do a ton of work. Now, again, I move to the front of the peloton. There's nobody out front. There's some people taking drinks. And I go, okay, this is a good time to attack. Peloton is lax. I don't like this pace. Now, when the peloton is lax, though, you do got to take into consideration that everybody's feeling pretty good. They're not too stressed, right? Like, if they're taking sips of water, you know that the pace is down, but also people aren't working too hard. So these breakaway chances right there, they're small percentages. If I know I can't win in the sprint, I'd rather try to take a breakaway than take 5th place. Like, that's just where I'm at as a category 2. I just don't necessarily care about points anymore. I don't really want to cat up to cat 1. I'm trying to win races in breakaways, at least for this race for sure, right? Like, that is my goal. So if that's my goal at the beginning, I want to stick to that plan. And that's why I'm wasting a lot of energy though. Like, I'm not trying to save it for a sprint. I'm not. That is not my goal. I'm just trying to create breakaways. I'm trying to get people to go with me. That is another big thing. If people don't go with me, I do not have high enough of an FTP to stay out by myself unless the peloton lets me, right? Like, so much is dictated by what the peloton wants to do. And since so many people are motivated to have a sprint finish, it's a very small percentage that it's going to work. But you never know. There's also a prize for being the most aggressive rider. And if you lead the most laps, you get aggressive rider. So, it gives you a reason to go out on front. Now, some guy just came up to me and he's a strong rider. And so I go, okay. And he was sitting on me for a little bit and I was kind of like, hey, do you want to work? Do you not want to work? He wasn't really giving me answers. Like, I didn't know what his purpose was. So then he gets on the front and he's drilling it. I'm doing 470 watts in his wheel. Late in the race where I've already done quite a bit of work, I'm like, this is a lot. Like, I can't sustain this pace if he's going to drill it like this for so long. And so he flicks me through and I say, hey man, I'm not coming through because I can't keep this pace if that's what you want. And the peloton was not that far behind me. That was another thing to take into consideration. So now I turn off the watts, I get off the racing line and I let the peloton come in and I just want to slot back in, right? That's all I'm trying to do, slot back in, get back into the race. And at this point now, we are pretty close to the end. I go, attacking is probably done here. Maybe I can go with a break if somebody wants to go. But basically we're gonna tie up the brakes and we're gonna say, let's give it our best shot at the end of the race. Now, again, I'm not a sprinter, right? But I'm still going to give it my best shot. Top 10, top 5 maybe, right? Top 5 maybe. So now I'm just trying to fit in the peloton, save a little bit, and then find my spot where I can try to compete for the sprint. That's all I'm trying to do here. And so we're going to skip ahead here in a couple seconds. But again, that's my mindset. Brakes are done. I'm done attacking. There's no more attacking coming from me. We're just going to try to sprint it out at the end. And you just want to save as much energy as you can. You have to push to stay in the peloton, right? Like, we're doing good watts here, but I'm not out on the win by myself. I know there's times that I can relax. So we're going to watch the full last lap because I really want to talk about the mental side of racing. You have to have the skill to race. You have to be in the right position, but also you got to take risks and take corners and be somewhat aggressive. We're all, we all know each other here in these local races. Nobody wants to crash out, which is great. I love that. But you can see right now, I don't know, I'm like 10 spots back, right? Which isn't bad, but I need to be further up, right? Like, I need to be further up, and we're in the last lap. These are big roads, so there is space to move up at times. And so that's my goal, is just to try to get as high place as I can so you can go to that last corner as high as possible. Now you can see I touched the brakes there, right? I'm getting a little bit nervous here because we got a little chicane coming up. I should have pushed harder there. I fell back a little bit. I'm going to pull the brakes here, and I'm not going to take that corner as aggressive as I could have. And now I lost a lot of spots because I pulled the brakes and the watts are very high. So basically the last match that I have is me trying to get back onto that group of 10, I think, are up there, something like that. And that is my race over, right? Like, there's I can't get back up into those spots because I'm not Matthew Vanderpool. I can't drop a 1,000-watt bomb to get back up in there. There's some really strong guys at the front, and they are pushing because this is the last lap. So you can see, I don't know how many guys are in front of me there, 10, 12. And that sucks. I wasn't aggressive enough, and I got a little bit scared. The mental side of racing is real. Like, you have to be willing to put yourself in situations, not dangerous, just like enough. Like, there's slight danger. And so now I'm going to sprint here. I think I take like 12th place in this crit, which is fine. Like, again, I wasn't trying to sprint to the end, so I wasn't mad at myself. I got some good breaks in there. And yeah, but I was frustrated by that last move by myself, where I was just like, I didn't take enough. I didn't push hard enough. I could have gotten in front of that guy's wheel to take that corner. I think, right? Like, I think I could have done that, but I didn't. And that's racing, though. That's racing. You can get stronger. And one thing I love about crit racing is there's, one the next week or the next week after that. Or like, there's like kind of always another race, which is awesome. And I love that about criterion racing. And you can continually practice and get better and better and better. Again, my goal at this race was to try to be a disruptor, try to go on a break, get a break going, something like that. If my sole goal was to sprint at the end, I would have been really mad at myself that I let that opportunity go. But that's okay, right? Like, that wasn't my goal. I was still happy with this, had good numbers, felt good. I was getting better and better throughout the season. It's another thing that I like to work on is, like, as long as I'm continually getting better and not getting worse, that's a success, especially at the 1-2 level. My expectations have dropped on winning and placing and things like that. So for this race, again, I was trying to be a disruptor, trying to go on a break. But thank you so much for watching. If you got any value out of this, please like and subscribe to the channel. It helps a ton. But also comment. If you thought I made a stupid comment or a stupid move, or like you would have done something better, put it in the comments. I love to see what other people think, right? This is just my thoughts on this race. So please tell me what you thought. Thank you so much for watching. See you in the next one.